Welcome, everybody. Very special guest here today, the great Ross Tucker. Now, Ross, I've known you, we've known each other now for well over a decade.
Yeah, long time.
Long time.
Since you made me do like 13 x-rays. We've been over this before.
He still is angry.
13 x-rays.
All right, let's just adjudicate this out right here, right now. Okay, so the first time I met you, Sirius, you were hosting, we were in New York, and I was coming on, and Alex Marvez, your co-host, says, yeah, we'll have you on in studio, but yeah, Ross Tucker. I was like, and? I was like, yeah, Ross is awesome. He's like this, got us all this business going, sports media. He goes, Ross doesn't love you. It's like, you made him do 13 x-rays. Here's the thing. It was before electronic medical records. Now everyone shares. Okay?
Oh, that's nice to know.
Okay. So back in the day when you were going around trying to get signed, I didn't have access to what you just took 2 days ago or a day ago and sharing. Now it's electronic and you wouldn't need to. But as I told you back then, if you owned a team, Ross, do you want the team doctor to be thorough?
No, you want thorough. No, you absolutely want thorough.
I mean,
the last thing I want to do if I'm the owner of a team is sign a guy, and then shortly thereafter, he goes on IR for the rest of the year, and I'm paying him however much money for him to not play.
Let me tell you.
You know what? Let me tell you an example of that, okay? This is real right now. 2007, I took a couple free agent visits, and I went to Washington. They were like, they did the physical. Now, in fairness to them, I had been there in 01 and 02. So the team doctor and everybody, they kind of knew me a little bit. I go to Atlanta, and Atlanta knew about my back from Buffalo. They had gotten my medical records from Buffalo. Now, I don't know if Washington did or not, but Washington knew about my back surgery. Atlanta didn't just know about my back surgery. They got the records. And they had said before I even went down there on my visit, they said, at a minimum, split contract, probably waiver on the back. And I was willing to do those things. They ended up failing me on my physical because I had a back surgery at multiple levels. So L4, L5, and L5S1 discectomy, laminotomy, foraminotomy. And they were just like, no. For a guy, they wanted me to come in and probably be the swing inside guy, you know, the backup at center and both guards. And in their mind, like, there's another guy they could get to do that didn't have multi-level back surgery. As I never even made it to the facility. The facility's out in Flowery Branch, Georgia. I'm in Atlanta at the doctor's, and I'm in a limo with Joe Horn on a free agent visit. It's me and Joe Horn in a limo. Falcons guy pops his head in. Hey, Ross. I said, yeah, can I talk to you? I was like, sure. Come out, he's like, so we failed you on your physical. I'm going to take you to the airport now. I said, okay. I said, can I say bye to Joe? He's like, yeah. I'm like, Joe, good luck, man, with the rest of your life. See ya. He's like, you out? I'm like, I'm out. And by the way, if you've been in the NFL long enough, you just know. Yeah. It's like The Godfather. Like, you're out, Tom. You're out. You know, like there's no way around it. So anyway,
no, I didn't fail you on a physical when you came through the Chargers.
No, but on my way, Doc, on my way to the airport, I call my agent and I say, tell Washington I accept, because they had offered no split. And they had offered, I knew I had a better situation to make the team in Atlanta because Hugh Jackson was the offensive coordinator. But I accepted Washington's offer. No split, no waiver. End up herniating a disc in my neck against the Ravens. C5, C6, bruised my spinal cord. Got paid the whole money for the whole year from Washington. To my point, Atlanta was thorough. Atlanta saved the owner $650,000. Now, there's not a correlation necessarily between my back and my neck, but maybe there is. I don't know. You could tell me. You're the doctor. But the point is it's good that you were thorough. When I was 26 years old, it was a huge pain in the butt because you were having me x-ray like things I heard in high school. I was like, I've started 25 games. I've been in the NFL 5 years. I played 4 years of college football. And I have to x-ray. What? Like, you even had me x-ray my dislocated index finger from Leroy Glover. You had me, like, I was impressively thorough.
Ross, let me tell you, that's a good thing.
Impressively or annoyingly thorough, depending on your perspective.
But that actually meant that the team said to me, fine-tooth comb you because we're actually signing him or considering signing him.
Right.
That's what that meant.
Because if it was just a favor,
it was a favor
for an agent.
Yeah, we wouldn't have.
They don't do all that stuff.
No. And I'm just saying this because it's topical. You never know when you find an os trigonum, J.C. Jackson.
Oh, well, I don't even know what that word was.
Well, I'm just saying that's what he ended up with surgery with, and now went down. Now, I'm not blaming anybody, whatever. Maybe they found it and realized it wasn't symptomatic and signed him, and that was big money. That wasn't $650,000.
Right.
So you never know. So yes, I was thorough, and one time I was really glad. David Ben, who's been a podcast guest,
long
friend of
snapper.
mine, long snapper. He told his Pamela Anderson story here, which is awesome for the Pro Bowl. But anyways, he finally got hurt once, and we need to bring in another long snapper. And we literally the next morning had 5 long snappers in the room, like boom, 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 for physicals in my office. And I'm x-raying all of them, and thank God I did, because the guy that we signed, I don't even remember his name, but I was like, he can't run. He's too big to be a long snapper. He can't cover kicks. Maybe he can snap the ball, but I guess that's what we wanted. We signed him. And the next practice, running down the field on coverage, he broke his foot, 5th metatarsal. And I was able to show ownership in the GM. I x-rayed it. This was not broken yesterday when we looked at the physical.
Right, because they would have been mad at you for missing it.
They would have been really mad at me for missing it.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, everyone's being self-protective.
Well, but I will say, I feel like a decent amount of stuff does get missed. And I think there's a medical competitive advantage in the NFL.
You know, we got accused all the time when I was in San Diego, and Buddy Nix used to say to me, my compatriots always say, you get so lucky drafting injured guys. And I tell them it's not luck. This is from Buddy Nix. Just because a guy's not ready to play today doesn't mean they're injured going forward, right? Antonio Cromartie was an example when he was coming out. You got to look at the type of injury and what is trouble. And it's not the same thing trouble for everyone. For example, offensive linemen, I would always be very careful about posterior shoulder subluxations because the way you have to punch and do things. But other positions, not as much. So there's different things.
I have a question about that. Do you believe that, not everybody, but that people have certain parts of their body that's their weak spot? Because my injuries, both spine. L4, L5, L5S1, and C5, so it's both spine. But I never, knock on wood, I never had any shoulder issues. Other guys, they separate or dislocate both shoulders, or they have hip issues on both hips. It feels like certain guys, like genetically, guys are predisposed to certain things.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. I mean, you're sitting next to someone with a cervical spine fusion and 3 lower back surgeries.
You?
Yeah.
From what?
I don't know, from stooping, doing surgery, or being
You've had
built
3
poorly.
low back surgeries?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I moved on. I had 5 epidurals in the last 2 months of the season, my last season with the Chargers, besides having boy-girl twins.
You know you weren't playing, right? You were the doctor.
Imagine if I was.
Wow. You know what's weird? This sounds bad, but like when I meet someone that didn't play, that had that many injuries, it like in a weird way makes me feel better.
Well,
does that make sense?
It's like, here's my.
It's like, okay, look, I could have not played and still been all messed up.
Here's my.
What's your 6 score for yourself?
My low back, terrible.
You're 92. Okay. That's what we do to old players.
No.
What's my 6 score?
I'll take 92. No, here's
score?
my football He-Man claim to fame, tough guy claim to fame.
Okay.
I had a cervical spine discectomy infusion.
How did that happen?
Who knows? I mean, one day my thumb was getting numb. I don't know, weightlifting.
So because you're a doctor, do you feel like your surgery happy as opposed to like trying to rehab it?
Oh no, I refused to even look at it. Then finally I got an MRI on my neck because I was so tired because I couldn't sleep that at lunchtime in our building, I went to the MRI tech and said, let me have an MRI so I could go take a 40-minute nap, and found a huge disc in my neck. I was like, no, I don't want surgery at all, ever. But anyways, the spine surgeon said, look, it was 1999. We were playing a preseason game in Australia, Chargers versus the Broncos. And I told the guy, I'll have surgery on Friday and I'll go on the plane on Sunday. And he was like, you can't do that. And so I rescheduled everything. I did surgery on Thursday and flew to Sydney, Australia on Sunday. They had a plate, so I didn't need a collar. I was stiff, but that's not bad, right? I didn't miss any time.
Well, so now when I hear stories like that, I just think, I don't think of that as toughness. I think of that as like moronic. Like if you went to Princeton, you wouldn't have done that. You'd be like, okay. Although I guess how often can you really go to Sydney, Australia for a football game?
Don't slight Crimson. Yeah, come on, Crimson. I mean, I know, Mr. Princeton.
What did you do in Sydney? Tell them what you did. That's another, right?
Oh, and I was an athlete in Sydney. So anyway, my point to the doctor, the spine surgeon, is he goes, you can't do that. I said, am I at bed rest at home? He goes, no. I said, well, I can sit on a plane. It's a 747, just like I sit at home. I have a plate. I don't have a neck collar on. You'll be stiff. You'll be sore. I'm like, okay.
What do you mean you have a plate?
A plate in my neck.
From the fusion?
From the fusion.
Okay.
So everything is secure. He goes, yeah. And he goes, okay, yeah, you're right. You're not at bed rest, but what if you get an infection? I said, well, you don't get infections from this very often. He goes, true. And I go, they have antibiotics in Australia. I mean, you know how it is in the NFL. If you miss, it's like, oh, you're in doubt. We got to do something. So I didn't want to miss anything.
But also, were you able to perform your duties?
Yeah. I mean, I was stiff. I mean, I was kind of a little bit of a robot.
Yeah.
But I did have an athletic feat. That's what Taylor's referring to there. Do you realize at one point I held the American record for the 400 in Sydney Olympic Stadium?
You were the first person to ever do it?
Yeah. Okay. And I kind of walked it. We were the opening event at Sydney Olympic Stadium, and we're there, and we're doing a walkthrough. And I did a slow walk jog around the track. And the players are all saying to me, Doc, what are you doing, getting a workout? I'm like, well, I just had neck fusion, so don't make fun of me, my walk jog. And I said, and by the way, I am the American record holder for the 400 in this Olympic Stadium right now. And they all thought that was cool. They started running hundreds and 400s, and there were a lot of people that tried to do that. But
that's awesome.
But anyways, I know you got to run here, but 6 Score, we're glad to have you helping us out and looking at stuff. And we're not just about injuries. We love offensive line stuff, right? Cluster injuries. That's why since the beginning of the season, we've been saying, like we said, Green Bay Packers, not so good this year. Bookend tackles.
Right.
You can chip one side. How do you do both?
Well, what are you thinking about Bakhtiari? I mean, that doesn't sound good.
No, he's heroic. He's playing through the whole deal, right? But that's why from the beginning we said, take the Vikings to win the division. They're healthy. And, Elton Jenkins, ACL.
Well, what about Thursday night with Jordan Davis out for the Eagles? Did you like Pierce's over on the rushing?
Well, we should have liked it even more, but that was just one injury. So that's where, we look at clusters. Look, we know when a quarterback is out, the line moves and the whole deal. But I don't know that people know when it's like 3 defensive linemen. Like we've been shorting the Rams all season because up the middle pressure, 2 guards and the center out, Matthew Stafford immobile.
Good point.
Brian Allen back. But then they lost the left tackle. So cluster injuries is what we look at. The hidden injuries, because everyone's got the star player. Everyone knows everything else.
Well, my point on Jordan Davis would be he's probably the Eagles' best run-stuffing D tackle, and then you're down a D tackle. So you're not only losing the best one, but rather than having 5 in a rotation you feel good about, now you have 4. Not that big a deal, but then the other guys are all playing more snaps. And really what it comes down to me is he's at worst the 3rd D tackle. So now your 4th and 5th guys are playing more snaps than you really want them to be playing.
No question. And where were you yesterday? No, just kidding.
I was there.
No, I'm just saying to tell. No.
Oh, I said it. I said it on the pregame show. Why
guys,
should I tell you?
Where are you not following what's going on?
You're 6score.com.
Yeah. So anyways, you're absolutely right about that. But there's a scheme element too. So when the starter's out, we kind of look at the backup. And say, what's the quality of the backup and the downstream? And also, when there's a shuffle, like let's say the center's hurt, and it's just one position, but the starting left guard now moves to center. Now you got two positions,
Yeah.
right? And then the domino effect, as you talk about. with
Yeah,
what's
it
going
makes
on.
a big difference. No question.
All right, Ross. I know you
gotta
gotta
do
run.
this again sometime.
Let's do it. We'll do it again. But it's good to have you.
You got to hang out tonight.
in San Diego.
Yes, this is awesome.
I saw
totally
your
get
tweet.
why people live here, by the way.
I'm not a big beer guy, so
Well, we're going to have to figure it out.
we'll figure it out. All right, Ross.
I had
Thanks
a
for
ballast
coming
point
on.
at the hotel already.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.